Okay, so so just allowing yourself then to just relax and release and just come into this space this morning. Okay, so just taking some nice big breaths then to start off with. I want you to bring your hands onto your tummy, so just onto your diaphragm. So just coming down onto your mat with your knees bent. And it doesn't matter if I can't see you the whole way through, don't worry about that. But if you can see me, that's the main thing. I'll give lots of instructions. I'm sure a lot of you have done, most of you have done lots of classes with me anyway. I know some of you are quite used to doing yoga, so I don't have any great concerns about anyone. But if you do have any questions, just give us a wave and I'll come over. Actually, what I will do before we get started anymore is I'm going to mute everyone. Okay, so just bringing ourselves down onto the mat then. Taking the fingers to the diaphragm, so I want you to place your hands so they're on the bottom of the ribs and the middle fingers are just touching, and then as you breathe in, those fingers will come apart and they'll come back together again. So we're just going to concentrate a little bit on the 3-part breath here, just really getting us used to using all of the lungs and some extra bits as well. So we breathe in and we take the breath all the way down to the hands. And we breathe out, and we try and breathe out from the place where the hands are as well. Seems a bit funny. So we breathe into the bottom of the lungs, through the nose, and out from the bottom of the lungs if possible. And you can do that through the nose or through the mouth and nose, it's up to you. So inhaling and exhaling. And as you exhale, just allow the body to sink onto the mat. Inhaling. Just breathing in your own time. Of course, don't wait for me to tell you to breathe in. Just breathing in your own time, but just making sure you're focusing right on it. And exhale. And as you exhale, like I say, just allow yourself to sink and settle. And the next time you breathe into this part here, I want you to imagine that that's going all the way around. So it's coming into the side of the ribs and it's coming all the way around the back. So breathing in, coming all the way into the ribs and all the way around the back, just in that lower part, in the same kind of area as the body. And exhaling from that part. And then I want you to move your hands up so that your fingers are on your sternum, so your hands are right on your chest. And then again, I want you to bring the breath into that place. And breathe out. And again, here, as you breathe out, just allow everything to settle. Particularly allow the shoulder blades to really just settle into the mat. So whenever you bring your attention to this part, this is like the heart center right here. And so I just want you to practice opening the heart a bit. So really trying to just open up there. And quite often if we've been stressed or if we're agitated, the heart can really tighten up. And if you've been agitated or stressed for quite a long time, the heart can be really hard. And that saying of a heart of stone is really true. So what I really like you to do, whenever you bring attention to this part in any of my classes, just try and imagine that that's thawing out a little bit. That heart's turning back into a nice soft jelly. You know, just try and take the mind there. And the breath. And don't get too hung up on if anything that I'm suggesting you don't really click with, or you don't know what I'm talking about, or you just can't seem to visualize what I'm saying. Don't worry. Just let it go. It's absolutely fine. and just bringing the breath back into the heart center. And if, like me, you like to do a big sigh as you breathe out, it just allows more of the stress, the anxiety, anything else that you've been storing. It just allows that to drift off. And then I want you to bring your hands a bit further up still. So taking your hands up on towards the collarbone now. And then we're going to bring the breath right up into this space. So you still bring it up through the diaphragm, through the heart center, but you're bringing it all the way up to the collarbone now as well. So that's really making use of all of the lungs. Now, I know your lungs don't come up all the way up to your collarbone, but it's that feeling of really filling right to the top. And that feeling again that you're carrying it all the way around the body. So it's coming all the way around and filling all the shoulders, all the chest. It just looks like you might have another lake. So just keeping that breath going there in your own time then. Okay. And then from there, we're just going to let that breath release. Just bringing your breath back to its normal rhythm. And then I just want you to, we'll just do a simple set of stretches at the beginning of my sessions just to get into the spine. So I want you to lift the pelvis, so tilt the pelvis up so that the tailbone's just coming off the floor. And then I want you to continue that through the spine. So as you push through the feet, start to work the hips up. Hips are going up towards the ceiling. And then the spine's returning back down to the mat again. So these are all really simple moves, but we're just trying to bring a lot of mindfulness to each of these little movements. So just trying to invite a little bit of movement in between each vertebra as you lift. And then really slowly placing every vertebra back down individually if you can, back onto the mat as you lower. So inhaling, lifting. And exhaling, lowering. And again, inhaling, lifting. And lowering. And the next time the hips are going to come up, we're going to introduce the arms as well now. So the hips and the arms come up together. So the arms are going all the way over onto the floor behind you. And then back down by your side as the hips come down. And just keeping that going in your own breath again then. Keeping that mindfulness going through the spine as you inhale, lift. Hands are floating. And exhale, lower. And the same again. A few more breaths like that. Inhale, lifting. And exhale. Lowering. So this time I want you to keep your hands on the floor. I want you to take your hips up. And we're going to keep the hips held there this time. So we're just bringing ourselves into this static bridge position. So what I want you to do is really lift your pelvis as far as it will go up. I want you to try and bring your shoulder blades together underneath your body and trying to clasp your hands underneath your body as well. So your arms are nice and strong. As your hands are clasped together, the hips are working up towards the ceiling. And at this point, your knees should be about hip width apart. And then all I want you to do is just try and bring those knees in ever so slightly. And then out again, just to hips width apart again, and knees in towards each other, pushing the hips up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing. And just allowing the knees to come back to hips width apart. Keep breathing, pushing the hip up. Hope no one else has got cramp in there. I too, I've got a lovely cramp in my thigh. Ouch. So just keeping that held, and then we're just going to lower the body all the way down to the mat. Okay. From there, I just want you to bring your left knee all the way into your body. I'm just going to give that a little squeeze there. You're going to need your belt in a minute. Just getting that nearby if you've got it. Don't worry if you didn't manage to find a belt, that you can do this set of exercises without a belt as well. So just pulling that left knee all the way into the body. And then we're going to take hold of the leg underneath the knee and keep the thigh and tummy in contact. And then we're going to take the heel towards the ceiling. The thigh and tummy staying in contact as the heel comes up towards the ceiling. So you'll start to get that hamstring working there. And keep breathing. Well, of course you're going to keep breathing. I mean, you know, consciously, so bringing your attention to it. Okay. And then from there, we're going to take a belt then. We're going to take a belt around the ball of the foot. We're going to keep an end of the belt in each hand. And really trying to make sure you keep the belt on the ball of the foot and not in the instep, because that might just pull on your foot where it shouldn't. Okay, and you're just relaxing your arms down on the floor if you've got a belt. Okay, if you don't have a belt, that's fine. You can just hold onto your leg. That's absolutely fine. But what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get this leg nice and straight. So we're trying to get all of the bend out of that. If you've still got a bend in your knee, you might just want to drop your leg down a bit, get that leg straightened out, and then bring it back into the stretch. Okay, so just working then with that stretch. Once you've found your straight leg, then you can start to ease into that stretch a bit more. So making sure both hips are still bearing right down into the mat, so you're not lifting your hips either. All the work's coming from the leg and through the hamstring. So your other foot should really barely be touching the floor. There's certainly no pressure going through that other foot. Okay, everything else is nice and relaxed. And these set of stretches are great for any other exercise you do. So if you're doing any running, anything like that, you know, these are great for upping your game with running. So just taking both ends of the belt into the left hand then, if you've got a belt. And if you haven't, you can just put your hand on your leg. That's absolutely fine. Or you can even just rest your hand to the side. If you do have a belt, taking both ends of the belt into the left hand, we're going to drop that leg out to the left, keeping it nice and straight, foot flex. And you're going to drop the right knee out to the right side. And again, just keeping both of those hips fully ground down into the mat, so you're not rolling over. And that should give you a lovely stretch to the inner thigh. And just nice deep breaths there. Nope, you shouldn't feel any pain during any of this session today. If you do, you've just got to step too far. Okay, so just ease off, don't push yourself too much. A nice deep inhale there, and as you exhale, bring the leg back to center. You're going to swap the belt over into the other hand, and if you don't have a belt, just rest your arms to the side. You're going to bring it, if you don't have a belt, you can bring it both arms out to like Angel of the North, so at shoulder height. And if you do have a belt, you're just bringing your left arm out. You've got your belt in your right hand. You're going to straighten that bent leg along the mat, so you've got two straight legs now. And then you're going to twist. You're going to bring the left leg all the way across the body to the right side. And you're going to look down the left arm. And you're just going to keep breathing there. Now, while the body's in a twist like this, it's really nice to fill the lungs. The breath here. Try and relax the body as much as you can. Coming into these positions, it's like all the body tenses up. It's trying to hold on. Just let it relax. It's fine. Nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, bring the leg back to center. And then we're going to release that foot from the belt. We're going to do all of that on the other side. So bringing both feet to the floor. We're going to bring the right knee in this time to the body, giving that a little squeeze there as you just start to warm up the hips, which is where we're going with our class today. We've got quite a good hip opening session. So we're just going to pull that thigh back onto the tummy, and you're going to take hold of the leg underneath the knee now. You're going to take the heel up towards the ceiling. So the foot flex. If that feels too strong with the foot flex through your hamstrings, just loosen the foot off. Fine. And just breathe into the hamstrings there. You might get a little foot wobble like I do. That's fine. Okay, so we're just going to bring the belt onto the foot again. Arms again relaxed on the mat, not too much pressure through this bent leg. And then you're just finding your point at which you know there's no bend in the knee. So just finding that spot, and once you're in that position, you're just going to pull your leg ever so slightly. You don't give it a yank, you just move it. The belt's there just really as a little bit of support. So you're not really putting any pressure, that much pressure through the belt. It's just there as a bit of guidance, really. And for you can push into the belt with your foot, but just not, you know, not in a strong way. Keep the breath in focus. Hips into the mat. Going to take the belt into the right hand then, or just pop in the right hand on the leg. And we're just going to drop the right leg out to the side, left knee out to the side as well. And just bring in breath. If you start to think about anything else other than your body during this session, or whatever it is I'm asking you to think about, just allow those things to drift away. Don't be cross that you thought about something, just that's fine, just let it go. Just for the time being, we're concentrating on you and your body. Just bringing that leg back to center, then we'll swap the belt into the other hand. You're going to straighten out that bent knee along the mat. Bring that leg all the way across the body and take the right arm out to the side as well. You can look down the right hand. Take some nice deep breaths there. Okay, nice deep. Inhale where you are. And on the exhale, you're going to bring the leg back to center. And we'll release the belt from the foot. And we'll just do a little rock side to side there. So just bringing both knees in and rocking side. Okay. So as long as you don't have any history of any disc problems, I'd like you to rock backwards and forwards. So you're going to come all the way up, but you're not going to let your toes touch the floor. Just about an inch away from the floor. All the way up. Just starting to engage the core a little bit. I like this because it makes me feel about 4. And the next time you come up, we're going to come all the way up. And we're going to come over into cat-cow. If you've got your socks on still like me, now's a good idea to get rid of those because we're going to start to use our feet a bit more in a minute. So bringing yourself all the way over onto all fours then. So your hands right underneath the shoulders, knees should be right underneath the hips. And when you look between the legs, you shouldn't be able to see your toes really. So that'll bring you into a nice alignment. So just getting the spine nice and level, eyes down on the mat, deep inhale there. And as you exhale, just arching the back up, so you're turning the tailbone and arching the back up and bringing the chin all the way into the chest. And as you inhale, allow the bottom to float up, the tummy to dip, and the head to come forward. Okay, exhaling, arching up, bringing the chin in. And inhaling, reversing, and out the other way. So just have a few breaths there. Exhaling, arching up. And inhaling. So like I say, all of these postures, any suggestions I'm making today are literally just that. This is your practice. So if there's anything you don't fancy doing or you feel like moving into it in a different way, do that. Just breath is really nice to do where you're kind of moving your body around. You know, you can really bring your hips into it as well. So you do circular motions. It's just really to get the spine moving, let it know it's away from what we're doing. Okay, and then from there, whenever you're ready, we're going to come up into downward facing dog. So pushing into the hands, making sure the hands are fully connected with the mat, turning the toes under and bringing yourself bottom up towards the ceiling as you push through the hands, really getting those hips high. trying to get your tummy towards your thighs. And then one by one, we're just going to walk the dog in. So you're just going to relax one heel down and then the other as the opposite knee bends. You're just walking the dog. You're pushing through the heels of the hands the whole time. Still trying to get the hips up towards the ceiling at all times. And then when it feels right for you, we're just going to bring both heels down towards the floor. Okay, lovely. So from here, we're just going to take the left foot back as we inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to hinge all the way forward as the knee comes in towards the body. And inhale again as the leg goes up. You come back into downward dog with the leg in the air. Exhale, coming forward. Same again. And then this time we're going to put the hand between the feet between the hands. This one foot between the hands. Okay, so that foot comes all the way forward. We need to keep the back leg off the floor. We're just going to come up into lunge. So we're going to lift the whole body here and we're going to bring the arms up. Okay, and keep breathing there. Should be a right angle in that front knee. Okay, couple more breaths there. So you can try and get that back heel down towards the floor and try and maintain that right angle in the front knee. Let's bring the hands down towards the mat then, and we're going to come back into downward dog from there. Okay. Lovely. Couple of breaths here. And then from there, we're going to take the right foot back. The inhale. And exhale, coming forward. Inhale. Going back, exhale, coming forward. And the third time you do that, that's what's going to come all the way through. You're going to keep that back knee raised off the floor and bring yourself up into lunge. Arms nice and straight, eyes up slightly. Just pulling in the pelvic floor and the core there. Keep breathing, drop the shoulders away from the ears. Taking some nice breaths there. Let's bring the hands back down, coming back up into downward facing dog. And then very slowly, we're just going to start to walk the hands and the feet together. And in your own time, nice and slowly, we're just going to bring ourselves all the way up to standing. Okay. I can see mainly legs now, and that's fine by me, as long as you can see me. That's the main thing. So just going to bring yourself into mountain pose. Okay, so just want you to really bring your focus to your feet. Imagine these roots growing through the feet into the earth. It doesn't matter if you're second floor up. Just imagine that you're connecting your feet to the ground and that you've got roots coming from your feet all the way through. And from there, I want you to lift your knees and strengthen your legs. Pull the bottom in, lift the pelvic floor. I want you to bring the core together. So really pulling the core in tight. And then opening the heart again. Opening the chest, dropping the shoulders. Allowing the arms to become heavy. And then as if you've got this lovely golden thread, pulling you nice and tall. So this is mountain pose. Feel that grounding pressure coming through the bottoms of the feet now. And again, thread pulling you nice and tall. Such a lovely resting posture. And you can just bring your hands into prayer there. And just take a few breaths with the eyes down. It's so lovely just to come into a very mindful standing posture. Okay, just releasing that then. Keeping the feet in exactly the same place, we're going to bring ourselves up into tree. So let's take the weight first of all into the left foot. So you can bring your foot into, just onto your ankle, onto your calf, or you can bring it all the way up and into your leg, whatever feels right for you. I was all over the place in my balancing on Wednesday. I don't know whether my mind's any quieter today. We'll certainly see. So you're just bringing your hands out to the side there, palms face forward. And if you wobble about, don't worry, that's all part of your foot becoming stronger and your mind settling down. Okay, just bring the hands into heart position there. Okay. And if at any point, my foot's going to stay there. If at any point you feel like you don't want to go to the next stage, just stay where you are. The next position here is just taking the hands up. So trying to maintain that your hands are right over the top of your head rather than in front. They're right over the top. So you've brought your shoulders through. You're not jutting your head through to get through the gap, but you've brought your elbows back. And then you just breathe in there. And then the final one for me, I love this bit, is we take the hands wide, we'll open take the eyes up towards the ceiling and just open the hands, but really put some energy through the hands, really make them strong and really make them energized. And feel, if you can, the energy as it comes in through the palms, re-energizing the body. And there's an exchange as you're letting go of stuff through the hands as well. Just letting any energy that wants to release and let go, just let that just go off into the atmosphere without any worries. And just receiving as well this energy. If that's not right for you, you can just bring your hands into any other position. Okay, well held. Good. And then we'll just do all of that on the other side. So just quickly bringing ourselves back into Savasana, really just getting that foot ground down and the base nice and strong. So knees are lifted, pelvic floor's lifted, core all nicely brought together, bum's tucked in, everything's there and working, nice firm base, chest open, shoulders down. Standing position, this thread, pulling your spine nice and long. And then you're going to take the weight through onto the right foot. So you can have your foot wherever you want. Try and do the same as that you did on the other side. And then just with the palms facing forward as we start to breathe. You can maybe bring the attention to the palms of the hands and take the breath into the palms. I know that sounds a bit mad if you're not used to doing this kind of thing. You can really just breathe in through the palms of the hands. And feel it energizing. And then bring the hands to the heart. Remember, as soon as this prayer position is so beautiful, it's all about love and respect for yourself and everybody else. It's about bringing the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain together to this peaceful place in the middle. Just breathe in there. And then bring your hands up if you want to. A couple of breaths just there. And then the final one, if you wanted to, making the hands nice and strong. It's almost as if you're like, you know, when you haven't seen someone for ages and you're running forward with these outstretched arms for a massive cuddle, that kind of thing. You know, like put it in the sky, yay. All this energy dive into you, let go of anything that you don't want, no longer serving you. It can all just leave now. A few more breaths there. Okay, let's bring the arms down. Release the foot. Just give the ankles a little wiggle around. Nicely done. Okay, fab. So I've been trying to practice as often as possible sun salutations through my sessions, just to, I think lots of people do lots of different sun salutations in different ways. So I'm trying to keep to the same one the whole time, and then hopefully one day it's just going to click and you're going to know it all. It's not that much to remember once you've started. So bringing yourself to the front edge of your mat, I'll talk us through the version of the sun salutation that I'm going to teach you, and then we'll do it to the breath the second and third time through. Okay, so at the edge of the mat to start off, breathing in as the arms come all the way up. Exhale as you fold forward. Take the hands to the legs and look forward with a straight back. And then you're going to bring the forehead down towards the knees again. You're going to take the hands to the floor, bend the knees, step back with the right foot. And I'm going to bring the knee all the way down to the floor. Keep the hips low. We're going to come into crescent moon there. The eyes go up. There's a lovely back bend there. Nice hip flexor stretch. Bring the hands back down to the floor. We're going to turn that back toe under and we're going to come into plank from there, okay? We're going to lower the body all the way down. You can do it in one go if you've got the upper body strength, and if not, you can go knees first, then chest, and then as you lower the bottom down towards the floor, you're going to come up into cobra, okay? Turning the toes under, back into downward facing dog from there. We're going to have a couple of breaths here, and then we're going to take the right foot and put the right foot between the hands, this time dropping the left knee on the floor and coming up into crescent moon again on this side. Again, bringing the hands back down by the foot, toes under, back into plank, lowering the body down towards the floor, however's right for you. Inhaling into cobra, turning the toes under into downward facing dog. A couple of breaths there. And then we take both eyes forward between the hands. We're going to take both feet there this time as we jump or walk or skip through. And inhale as you come to stand. And exhale as you bring the hands down in prayer. Okay, let's try and work that a little closer now with the breath. And if you just do it at your own pace. Don't feel flustered if you don't keep up or whatever. That's absolutely fine. So go inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, head comes back in. Inhale, step back. Exhale, lifting up into crescent moon. Inhale into plank. And exhale, lower down to the floor. Inhale into cobra. And exhale into downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Eyes forward. We're going to take the right foot in between the hands. Left knee down. Into crescent moon there. Inhale into plank. And exhale, lower down. Inhale into. Turning the toes under into downward facing dog. This time, eyes forward. We're going to take both feet there. As you inhale, come to stand. Exhale. We'll go again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, straighten the back. And exhale, head back in. Stepping back with the right foot on the inhale. Arms lift up on the exhale. Bringing the body into plank and inhale. And exhale as you lower down. Inhale into cobra. And exhale as you come up into downward facing dog. So the breaths there. Trying to get the bottom up towards the ceiling still. Eyes forward, both feet coming through. As you come to standing. Oh, it's still going a bit then. And inhale, bringing the hands back into prayer. Okay, let's do one more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, as you look forward. Exhale, head comes down. Inhale into crescent moon. Exhale, bring yourself down. Inhale whilst in plank. Exhale as you lower. Inhale into cobra. Exhale into downward facing dog. Now I'm going to take your eyes forward, take your right foot through, left knee down as you exhale, coming up. The crescent moon. Hands down. Back into plank. Inhale in plank. Exhale as you lower. Inhale into cobra. Turning the toes under into downward facing dog. Couple of breaths there in downward dog. Eyes forward, and we're going to take both feet through into the gap. Down. As you come, settle there. Okay, that was a nice little, get the heartbeat raised a little bit, wasn't it? I'm going to take it off, but I'm going to keep it on because I'm getting cold. I want you to come down onto your floor, and I want you to come into pose of the child. First of all, we're going to come into pose of the child, take the forehead to the floor. If you've got any blood pressure problems, a couple of fists underneath the head, just bring your head down onto the fist. But if not, you're absolutely fine. Take the hands, forehead down to the floor, palms face up and back by your feet. And just allow your shoulders to relax towards the mat. The back of the shoulders to soften. And you can widen your knees a little bit if that feels better, rather than trying to squish yourself all in. Try and keep the toes together. And from here, going into pose of devotion. So that is just the same with the head and the body, but the arms are stretched out in front. You just take the arms and give them a nice stretch out. Really creeping those fingers forward as much as you can, but keeping the body and the head in the same place. Okay. Right. So from here, we're going to come and do something called walk the cat. This is when I miss being in a room with people. These are the ones that are I find quite fun. If you haven't done this before, it's quite easy to tie yourself into knots. But it's good, and it's really going to get into the hips as well. So it's just onto your all fours then. Most of you have done this with me before. So onto all fours, and then what I want you to do is bring your knee around and through. I'll show you this way so you see what I'm doing. So you bring the knee all the way around like this, and then you're going to sort of crawl forward, crossing the legs over one by one. Okay, just crossing the legs. So you walk in the full length of the mat. And once you're at the top end, you're going to go backwards. It's always a funny bit. Now, if you're finding this is like no bother at all, it's not really putting any pressure anywhere, what I'd like you to do is just start to push back. You see what I'm doing there? So once your legs are sort of wrapped around, pushing back. That'll just give a little pull through the hip, pull through the shoulders, and just do that a couple more times. So go in both directions a couple more times. Okay, again, just pushing back through the arms. If you don't feel like there's any stretch coming anywhere really for you there, you might have very open hips. Okay, so that's getting us ready for, we're going to come into pigeon pose now. So just coming back onto your all fours again, kind of, I suppose, so that you, right in the middle of the mat. And then I want you to bring your right knee over your left, like we just were. And then I want you to push your left leg all the way back. Now can you see what I'm doing there? Coming all the way down. And I'll just do that the other way so you can see what's going on the other side. So you're bringing the right leg over the left and pushing the leg all the way down like that. Okay. So you're in this position here. If you can get this foot, this doesn't work for me, my hips aren't designed this way, to be straight like that, that is actually pigeon pose, but that's not good for my hip. And most Westerners, Western women tend to do it this way, just because of the way we're made. But if you can creep that foot forward, any great. So you're in this position then at the moment. Not got loads of pressure going on through the hands. And then I just want you to try and lower yourself down towards the floor. So just like we were in pose of devotion there, really stretching the arms out, bringing the forehead, if you can, down to your mat. And once you're there, just relaxing as much as possible. Allow that hip to open. Allow the breath to take you in. And you can bring your hands into prayer while they're on the floor. And if you wanted to, you can just bring the thumbs to the back of the neck. So you kind of, your prayers at the back of your head. And just breathe in there. Lovely hip opener. Okay then, so from here we're going to bring ourselves back up to sitting. Bring ourselves back up from there. And then if you wanted to, we've done some cobras and stuff, so our backs are nice and warm. If you wanted to, and if you can get the balance, you might just want to bring the hands up into prayer there. And if that feels okay for you and you think, actually, I could go a step further, maybe you could bring the hands up as well. So that's for you to practice. Just listening out for any calls from the back that you're doing too much. Just make sure you're not doing too much there. Just bringing the hands down again. This is, I said if you had blocks and stuff, it might be that you might feel that you might want to block underneath your bottom at this point, the side of your bent leg. Give you some support, but it's up to you, really. Okay, and then the next position there then is we're going to bring this back knee in, back ankle in. So you've got hold of it, left arm, left ankle. And if you wanted to, I could probably do the block today actually, underneath my bottom, just to keep me propped up a bit. And I'm just going to take the right hand forward. And you can look along the right hand. Having a couple of breaths. Oh. And let's release that out. And we're just going to bring both legs round. That hip, no doubt, is shouting a bit by now. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I know mine is. And then we're just going to do that on the other side. So we're going to come back into this cat position. We're going to take the left leg over the right this time. And this right leg will be desperate to get lengthened out after all of that nice stretch that just went through the hip. So you're just doing that on the other side now. So you're lowering down as far as you can. And when it feels okay for you, you're just going to creep the hands forward and bring the head down onto the floor and just relaxing into this as much as possible. I say this quite often, but and I'm sure you all already know it, but the reason that, yoga is all about getting into these tricky positions is just to help us realize that we can handle tricky positions. And it's just a metaphor for things that come up for us, just in life. If you can handle getting comfortable in these, not in these ridiculous shapes, then actually, I didn't bring the hands into prayer there. So just bringing the hands into prayer and bringing the prayer to behind the head. And then we're just going to walk the hands up again. Okay. So in this position. If you want to keep your hands on the floor, that's absolutely fine. You're still getting a lovely hip opening there. And if you wanted to take it to the next position, you can bring the hands into the heart, into prayer, remembering what I was saying before about what this mudra is all about. And then if you wanted to, you could take that into a further back bend. But again, just be careful with not going too far, not competing with yourself too much. Bring the arm back down. And then we'll just move through to the next bit if you wanted to do the next bit. So that's bringing that back foot up, taking hold of it with the arm on the same side. And then you're just going to float. If you're doing this without a block, your foot comes in really handy to keep you balanced. Or you can just pop a little block or a cushion underneath yourself like that, like I did earlier on, and the balance you get from that's great. A couple of breaths there. I just wish I could see you all. There's nothing better than looking around and seeing everybody accomplishing and trying to get into things and just, you know, going that step closer to what they think their body can't do. So well done. Let's come out of that. Okay. So coming up now into our main posture for today, which is cow's head posture. So it's quite similar through the hips. And again, like I say, you might want to get your blocks or your cushions or whatever handy so you can sort of stuff underneath your hips where you need to if you feel like you need some comfort. And also getting your belt nearby as well, because we're going to bring the arms into play too. So we'll get our legs into position first of all. So again, just the same movement really as we just did. So we'll start off by taking the right leg over the left, so creating that same thing. And then what I want you to do from there is bring the, maybe just hold on a second, because I think people are whipping around and getting cushions and things. Okay, so you've come onto your all fours again. You've brought your knee over the top. And then what I want you to do is bring your ankles out to the side if you can. Can you see what I'm doing there? Bring your ankles out to the side. And then what you can do is you can just plop yourself back into that space that we've created between the feet. Okay, so the knees are stacked. The feet are out to the side. You're nice and long and straight. And you might feel like you want a wedge of cushion underneath. It's usually the leg that's on top needs a bit of support if you need it. Look after your knees. If your legs aren't going into this position, don't worry. You can just sit with your feet. You could do this with one leg straight and one leg over. Completely up to you. This is your practice. Don't forget. Okay. So knees stacked if you can. And then I want you to take your belt over a shoulder. Doesn't matter which one. So you should have your left foot on the bottom. And if that's the case, I'd like you to take your left arm up. If for some reason you've got your right leg on the bottom, take your right arm up. Okay, so you're going to take your right arm up and over, bringing it behind your back, and the left arm comes round. And you're trying to interlink the fingers behind the back if you can. Handy little belt there, if you can't. Okay, so just take hold of the belt. So the elbows are pointing down and up. So this is cow's head posture. Sacred Indian animal. And I don't know if any of you have been lucky enough to go to India and seen them on the beaches there. I have. And when I saw them on the beaches, I was like, what? Cows on the beaches, but they're amazing. And they just all sit around being lordy all day because they're really celebrated in India. So just allowing your seat to sink down as much as you can. Allow yourself to become comfortable. And the other part of the practice with this is the gaze, which when we come out, we'll practice the gaze and we'll do the gaze for the other side. It's basically just kind of looking a bit into the distance and blurring your vision a bit. The funny little things. We'll practice that before we go in on the other side. Just breathing there. Closing the eyes. Just gonna stay here for a few more breaths. Just allowing the body to relax as much as you can. Can you relax the shoulders any? Keeping the arms, the integrity through the arms. Just trying to relax the shoulders. We're lifting through the spine, but we're relaxing the tummy. And allowing the legs to soften as much as possible. And then very slowly, see if you can do it without going, ah. I think it's going to release. Oh. Okay, so let's do that on the other side. If you can get into it by just crossing your legs over, that's fine. If you found it helpful to come up onto all fours, cross your legs, bring your feet out to the side, and then drop yourself back into that position. That's great too. Just making sure those feet are wiggled out to the side though, and the knees are stacked. If you can get there, you can, don't worry. Just do what you can. With the legs, let's flip the belt over onto the side. So this time we've got right leg on the bottom. So we'll go left arm up and over. Oh, right, I must have done that wrong last time. I think I went the wrong way. I think I may have gone the wrong way. So your other arm, put your other arm up towards the ceiling this time, and taking hold of the belt behind. Doesn't take too much away from it really. It's just not exactly right, but you're still getting a lot of the same benefits. Breathing there. I didn't practice the gaze either. Never mind. We'll do that next time. It's quite enough, I think, just to be in this posture. So our shoulders and our hips certainly have done plenty of work just to take us nicely into this day. And any funny sensations that you get, I know sometimes it's really like the immediate reaction to anything that's unusual, like I can feel the blood draining out of my hand. And the instant reaction is to like straighten your arm out, get the blood back in, but actually, if it's not causing you too much bother and too much pain, just sit with it for a little while. Allow whatever the body wants to do while you're in this posture, let it do it. As long as there's no pain, if you feel something that just feels a little unusual, just stay with it if it's not causing you a problem. And just breathing there. Little smile on the face. Always find help. And let's release the arm and release the leg. Well done. So that was our main posture for today. I'll come a little closer just to finish with a twist and stuff. I know we got started a little bit late today, so if anybody did need to dash off, I'm sorry that, you know, obviously I would understand that you will be missing the best bit, which is the relaxation at the end. If you do need to get away, that's absolutely fine. So just bringing yourself, actually, let's take both feet out in front and let's take the right leg over the left. And we're going to come into a twist just to finish off. So nice and tall through the body. We're going to take the right arm back behind it. We're going to take the left elbow over the top of this knee. And we're going to just straighten the arm out in front. And then we're going to bring ourselves to look and twist behind. Okay. So you're pushing through the hands with the fingers and really stretching the hands out as well, looking over that back shoulder, breathing deeply. Nice and full. And we'll just do that on the other side. So release that out to the front. And just do that on the other side. So taking the other leg over. Oh gosh, honestly, I've forgotten which leg I did again now. Taking the other leg over then. Elbow coming across. Energy through the hands. The fingers go through into behind you to keep you nice and straight. And then you're going to look over the back shoulder. And you can flex the foot if you want to keep the leg working, but we're starting to relax now, so we don't have to worry about that too much. And let's bring ourselves back to center. Lovely. Okay. So, yeah, I think we'll do bee breath today. What I like about bee breath is that it starts to introduce people to making noise. I think lots of people that aren't used to doing sort of mantras or chanting or anything like that, which I know when you first do things like that, make you feel a bit bonkers. So the bee breath really just gets you to start to hear your own voice in this kind of practice. It's a lovely practice because the vibration that comes from the sound that you make is great for just vibrating through the body and bringing some beautiful peace to the body. If it's not very often that thoughts come in during this practice because we've got some things to think about, but if they do, just let them drift off. We're just going to have a small 3-minute practice, and all it is, for those of you that hasn't done it before, is you inhale through the nostrils, and as you breathe out, you just make a humming sound like a bee. And you might find when you start that the noise is right at the back of the nose, sort of at the top of the tongue. If you can try to work it down into the throat, that's a nice place to try and get it to arrive to, something to concentrate on. If you can try and get that sound to be nice and long and the same all the way through, super. I sometimes tend to go a bit up and down, so just do whatever feels right for you. It's a really lovely thing, and you can experiment around with it if you want to. And also, if you don't want to do it, you can just sit in silence for a few breaths. If for any reason you feel a bit funny or you go lightheaded and you don't like it, just bring your breathing back to normal. You shouldn't. It's a very gentle breath practice. Okay. We'll just count. I'll let you know when the time's up. I'll do it with you, and I'll let you know when we're just going to bring our breathing back. Okay. So just in your own time, settling down into your seated space. Closing your eyes, breathing in, and let you go. The end of your next exhale, with your eyes closed, just bring your breathing back to normal. And then, without moving too much, I'd like to bring yourself down into Savasana, corpse pose for relaxation. Just bringing yourself all the way down to laying down on the floor. Just arms out to the side ever so slightly, and just allow the feet to fall away from each other. If you want to get snuggled down in blankets or anything like that, feel free to do that. It's really nice just to feel nice and cozy for this part of your practice. I'm getting wrapped at 2 today. I'm joining with the snuggling. I need some snuggles today. Okay. So just really bringing yourself down onto the floor, relaxing fully, just softening. And for those of us that aren't able to get down onto the floor, just enjoying the moment as much as you can. We're just going to start to relax, soften here. And we're just going to do a little meditation before we have a few minutes of silent relaxation at the end. So I just want you to bring your attention to your heart center. And I want you to imagine that at that heart center, there's a tiny little light, about the size of a fairy light. And it's just swirling around there, just having a lovely old time, and it's there. And this tiny little light represents peace, joy, and love. And it's always there. It's always lit up. Even on the darkest of days, there's a little light in there that's filled full with joy and happiness. And yeah, just love. So when you need to think back to that spot, you bring your mind back to that spot. And just as we're focusing on it now, it just starts to get a little bit bigger and starts to radiate out. You can work with the breath as well if you want to during this little meditation. As this little ember, this little light that's in the chest begins to grow, starts to grow into the whole size of the heart, the whole size of the chest. It starts to fill the chest, and the love and the light and the peace and the joy that comes from that fill the whole chest. And just feeling that warm. And then it starts to fill the rest of the body from there, moving up into the shoulders, through the arms, through the fingers, and through the neck and the head. That light just radiating from your heart center. And it starts to radiate down through the diaphragm, the torso, spine, the pelvis, into the hips, the bottom, the legs, into the knees and the feet, the ankles. Just all completely filled with this light now, this energy and this love. And as you're laying there, it's just abundantly just going to keep flowing from the heart center. And there's no way you can contain it all because there's just too much. So it just starts to leak out from the body, just spilling out from the toes and from the hands. It starts to come out through the pores of the skin. And that light just starts to really fill the space that you're in without any problem. There's just so much of it. It just abundantly keeps coming, this light and love and joy from the heart, until the whole room's completely filled. And then it starts to get through the cracks under the doors and starts to fill the house. Wherever you are, starts to fill the building, the whole place. This love and light coming from your heart center, just filling the whole of the house or the building. I think it just keeps coming. It keeps coming, no effort required. There's so much light and love from your heart center. And then it starts to seep out of the building and into the street. And it starts to fill the streets where you are, the area that you're in. It really starts to fill up the whole place, connecting with the whole neighborhood, connecting with your whole local area. And this love and light is just filling the whole place, and it's all coming from your heart center. Just abundantly, just there. And then it starts to get bigger and bigger. Light just flows from you and this love to the whole of the city. And it goes beyond into neighboring towns and cities and villages. And it starts to spread all the way across the whole region, the whole of the country. Just starts to fill up with this light coming from your heart center. And this love that's there abundantly. And it spills into the seas. And it starts to move its way across to neighboring countries. And it starts to fill those countries up with this light. So much light coming from your heart center right now. And it just keeps going, keeps filling everywhere up. And it just, the point where all of the countries are completely filled with light from your heart center and love and joy and peace. From your heart center. And once all of the land and the seas are filled, it starts to rise. And it rises and rises into the skies, into the Earth's atmosphere. And this is love and light coming from your heart center that's so easily coming because it's just so abundant. And it rises up and rises up. And it goes out into the universe, touching the stars and planets, the moon, the whole universe, just filled with love and light from your heart center. And just feeling so at ease there, just giving this out from that place. And whilst you're there, just feeling all of this love, there's a funny little change. And all of a sudden, that all of that love and light that's in the whole of the universe is now being held by the universe. And it's starting to bring its way back down. So all of that universal love and light is now starting to make its way down to our planet, into the atmosphere. And that universal love and light, peace, joy, is all coming back down towards the earth, seas, the various countries. And it just starts to close in as it starts to come nearer and nearer to where we are. So it starts to come into our country. This love and light energy, oh, it's so powerful. It's so wonderful. And it's just starting to come down to our country, comes down to this region. And it's so powerful and so full. It starts to come down to this city, and it starts to make its way down to your street and then to your house. And this energy is coming from the universe, filled with love and light, all the way down to the room that you're in, to your body. And that love and light now finding its way to your heart center, bringing with it all of that energy as that light fills the chest. And that light starts to just reduce down into this smaller little light until it's then back into this tiny little light right at the center of the heart. So all of that energy from the universe, all of that love and joy from the universe is now contained in that tiny little light right in the heart center, and can be there tapped into anytime. And just allowing that to just stay with you as you really begin to relax fully into the mat, relaxing your feet and your legs, really becoming heavy on the mat. The hips are soft, the tummy's completely relaxed, spines at ease, the shoulders are soft, and the arms and hands are completely soft and relaxed. The chest is soft and the neck completely soft. The back of the scalp is heavy, the forehead just relaxed. Allow the jaw to soften, the eyes to roll back, the lips to become soft and the tongue to soften as you take a few more easy breaths and just relax down into a few minutes of silence. We'll just start to wiggle the fingers and toes there. And start to make those movements a bit bigger, maybe through the arms. Just keeping the eyes closed while you do. We're going to bring the knees in and roll over onto the right side. Have another minute there. And then whenever you're ready, nice and slowly, you're just going to bring yourself up to sitting and keep the eyes closed while you do. And when you come to sitting with the eyes closed, we'll bring the palms together. Let's warm the palms with the hands up. Nice and warm. Take the palms over the closed eyes and very gently just allow the light to return back. Namaste. Thank you. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I'm not going to unmute everybody because I just get confused when everyone tries to start talking. It's been so lovely to see so many great faces, and I hope you'll join us again. I'm sorry that we've overrun. It was just those technical problems at the beginning, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.